At the KSMO studios, time for us to sit down with our friends from Intercounty Electric and start thinking about sweltering come Friday.
Yeah, I've started thinking about that.
It's
Thanks,
not my
Dan.
fault.
You read it.
I did read it. I can't help it.
I know.
It's the truth.
Yeah.
What do you want me to do? I
And
can't
it may
lie.
change. It could change.
No.
I'm trying to be optimistic, Stan.
No, it's not going to change.
It's
This
gonna be hot.
whole pattern's just not
know.
changing. It's just not going anywhere. Maybe it might be maybe a degree or two cooler. How about that?
We're gonna have the meeting during the nice, cool, beautiful morning.
The morning should be good. Early in the
then
morning when you're signing.
We'll have it
yes.
wrapped up and out of there before we all get miserably hot.
Right, and
Right?
it will be. And the oppressive heat will be definitely during the late afternoon. So,
Yeah.
yeah. So it won't be horrible come Friday morning.
Right.
Now Saturday morning is going to be pretty nasty.
Yeah.
But you're not going to have it Saturday.
No,
You're gonna
we're
have
having it Friday. So.
Anyway, but very good. So kind of our main thrust of the meeting this morning that we get to sit down and talk about is the annual meeting.
That's right.
It is one that's actually going to be held this year, open to the public.
That's right. So the last couple of years, if you remember, we've had the drive-up annual meeting, which hasn't had real high attendance, understandably so.
All three.
Right.
Yeah.
But this year we're back over at the Old City Park. It's going to be this Friday, June 24th, and registration will open at 11. We're going to have registration open at 8.
I was going to say 11.
At 8.
Wow, you guys are going to get hot.
I got ready to say until 11. I'm like, wait a minute, I just said 11. Registration will be from 8 until 11. So you can come early, get registered, you can vote, go check out the crafters, the vendors. We'll have entertainment that morning. You can sit and listen to them. Business meeting should be short and sweet and to the point. We're not having a speaker this year. We'll have our board president and CEO. They'll give their intercounty updates. And then our secretary treasurer of the board will give the financial status of the previous year. And then business meeting will be
Done.
Yeah.
Finished. Over.
Right. So short and sweet business meeting, really just the meat and potatoes of it. We'll have a brown bag lunch this year. We're doing all beef hamburgers instead of the barbecue that we used to have. So something a little different. COVID's kind of changed things, whether we think
It's hard to plan ahead for
did or not.
anything.
Right.
Yeah.
And so the brown bag lunches, the sack lunches, they're closed. It's not the open plate, something a little different. So something else that's different this year, and this is by request of several of our members over the past several years, we're going to do all electric credits for the drawings. We've had members every year. They'll go home with a curling iron or a mini crock pot, or a window fan. They're like,
Making them use more electric.
well, essentially, yes.
Yeah.
But you may have too many crock pots at home already, or maybe you don't have any hair and
That's
you went
when
home with a blow dryer.
No, but that's when you save them for a wedding.
Well, that's
And then you
true. I
give
guess
them
you
off
can
as
do
a
that.
gift.
Yeah.
Re-gift them.
But we've had members over the years tell us, man, we wish you would just do all electric credits. And so this year we are doing that. We're going to draw for $4,000 in electric credits. I think it's something like 35 or 40 different drawings.
Of denomination, yes. Mm-hmm.
Yep. And got a couple of 500s and a handful of 250s, and then a whole bunch of 50s and some $100 ones too. So lots of electric credits going to be drawn for. And something else that's different is that you don't have to be present to win those. Those will be drawn from the registration cards. So we've got your name, your member number on those, so we can contact you after annual meetings. So if you vote by mail,
You better hurry up.
yes, a couple things with that. Absolutely. If you're going to vote by mail, please drop that in the mail today. You received your ballots, that registration card, and your postage paid envelope all in your June Rural Missouri magazine. Really easy to vote. You mark your vote for one director in each district, regardless of which district you live in. You get to vote for one in each. And then mark your choice for the proposed bylaw changes, which we'll talk about here in a little bit. But you do that, sign the bottom of that ballot, stick your registration card in there with it, and drop it in the mail. But as Stan mentioned, you want to do that. Hopefully you've already done that. But if you haven't, go ahead and do that today. Get it in the mail. And anyone who votes by mail, those registration cards are going to be put into the drawing as well. So you could win an electric credit
And not even be there.
and not even be there. And
But it has to be received by 11 o'clock, right?
by 10 a.m.
10 o'clock.
By 10 a.m., yep. Our bylaws are written so that by 10 a.m., the
I'm
morning
sure
of
no
annual meeting.
postal man will be coming by, or postal servant will be coming by.
We'll
Between 8 and 10, it's going to drop you off a bunch of...
We'll have mail.
Oh,
the
I'm sure
morning
you'll
of.
have some.
Yeah, we'll have some. So we'll get those processed. That way those votes count.
Just all depends on when it arrives from Springfield.
It does. Yeah, it absolutely does. So please do that today if you haven't already done that. And if you come to annual meeting, if you come and you go through registration line, you get your goodie bag, you go vote, and you decide that you're going to go home for the day, your card is still in that drawing.
There you go.
And you could potentially win an electric credit too. So please make sure you vote. And like I said, hopefully you've already done that. But if not,
Everybody loves a winner.
do it today.
Everybody loves a winner.
Right. And it's important.
Everybody wants to be a winner. I want to be a winner.
Right.
They won't
And,
let me win.
You know, we talk about voting, and it really just stresses the fact that Intercounty is different. We're different from other businesses. We are a co-op, and that means that we're owned by our members, which
Sure.
means our members have a say. They get to decide who's on the board of directors. They get to decide if we want to change our bylaws. That's up to our members because they're our owners. So it's kind of your responsibility.
Well, the way I look at it is you elect directors. The directors go and they put something together. And it doesn't always mean that that's going to be approved by every member. They may not like the idea. So the members actually kind of police what the board of directors do.
They do.
At the annual meeting, is either say yes or no, and if they may come up with what they think is a fantastic idea, and yet the populace out there says, I don't think so.
Right.
And that's what the whole purpose is of having the annual meeting.
That's absolutely right. We try to make it a fun day. The health fair, the health tent will be there again. We've had a lot of members ask about that, and that's always an opportunity for our members to come and have some discounted lab work done.
Right.
And they have, the last 2 years, we've heard a lot of complaints from our members just because of the
available.
health fair.
Right, absolutely.
Because that's when they do their annual blood work. And that is available. If you want to do that, make sure you fast
Right.
because that will skew your numbers.
That's right.
If you,
At least 10 hours, if not 12.
right.
But then there's always the light at the end of that rainbow.
The food.
The food.
The food. And Raymondville Volunteer Fire Department, they are going to be over in the cook shack. They're providing breakfast. That is available for purchase. That's
Sure.
one of their
It's a
fundraisers for the
fundraiser,
year
right.
that helps the local volunteer fire department. But that breakfast is nice, especially for those who fasted. They're able to go over there and grab lunch and support a local volunteer fire department. We've got the crafters, vendors all lined up. We had a lot of requests for those spaces, which is always great.
That's good.
People want to be back out. They want to showcase
Right.
the things that they handcraft and that they make. So our members will be able to kind of mosey over there and take a look. That'll be on the west side of the park. And,
Is that lady who made the homemade lemonade going to be back?
I miss her.
Yeah.
And I don't
that
think
was
so.
good.
She did lemonades and limeades both.
Yeah. But I mean, the lemonade
I don't know
was
who you are, but if you're listening,
so-
we miss you.
Oh, yeah. That just hit the spot.
Yeah. Especially on a day like we're going to have this Friday. Man,
Yeah.
that'd be nice. Now you're making me thirsty, and I just got this
You
water.
got water.
I
You
know,
want-
but
we
it's
can
not a
flavor
nice.
it with lemon.
It's
We
not,
got
not a
lemon.
nice lemonade.
It's not her lemonade. I've had lemonade before. I don't know what she does in her lemonade, but it just didn't make you thirstier. It just kind of quenched your thirst. And
Right.
you're like, a lot of times you drink lemonade, you want more because
Yeah.
you just kind of keep drinking.
Right.
But hers didn't have that effect on me.
Yeah.
I don't know what she does to this, but it's really tasty, and it really is quenching of your thirst.
Yeah. So
But-
you'll have to go over and walk through and see
See if she's there.
who's there and what's over
Nice
there.
lady. I can't remember her name.
I don't either. It's been several years since she's been there.
Yeah.
But
Well, it's been several years since we've had vendors.
yes, that is true. We're going to have entertainment starting at 10, and they'll play for an hour and a half. That's a little bit different. Used to we had them on either side of the business meeting, and
Right.
and we're going to let them play at 10. And Mark's family, they are a family bluegrass gospel group.
Mm-hmm.
When I was reading through their bio, they had some instruments listed that I'd never even heard of. And maybe that just shows my lack of musical intelligence. I'm sure that's part of it. But looking forward to hearing them and their family perform for the members. So we'll have that. Like I mentioned, we're going to have the brown bag lunch. Hopefully that'll be ready right around 11:15. We're going to start serving. And we have ice cream this year.
It's been promised for 2 years.
It has, and I'm glad they didn't
I
serve
hope
it.
it's not the 2-year-old ice cream.
No, it's not. That wouldn't be very good. It wouldn't. That would not have lasted in the office. I promise you that, Stan.
Yeah, I know that.
But it'll be a hot day for that too. That ice cream sandwich will. I think that's what they're doing is ice cream
That's
sandwiches.
what you had said before, yes.
Yeah. So that is because
you
of our
will have
members.
to eat that in a fairly quick manner.
Yeah, when those are being handed out, please take it and eat it. This might be one of those times where you have your dessert first.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're going to have a cookie.
I love
guess.
ice cream sandwiches.
Me
I
too.
wolf them down anyway, but I can imagine somebody who takes their time in eating their ice cream to savor it and enjoy it.
Yeah. Yeah.
You may not have that opportunity to
eat
savor it as long. Let's
Right.
put it
Eat
that
your
way.
ice cream before your burger is what we're saying.
There you go. Very good.
But that's because of our members and their increased participation in Operation Roundup. That was a challenge that was presented to our members several years ago, and then we didn't have a meeting, so here we are, and we're getting ice cream, so we're happy about that. Let's see, we've got the vendors, we've got lunch, we've got breakfast, we've got the health fair. We'll have the kids tent again this year. So if you've
bicycles
got
to give away again?
yes, we've got 4 bicycles and helmets for some lucky kids. We're gonna have a coloring contest as well. We'll have a couple of winners from that, and they'll go home with a little stuffed buddy bear.
Great.
And
It's always good to have the kids involved.
it is. And something we did the last year that we had annual meeting back in 2019, and we're going to do again this year because our members seem to really appreciate it. We talk about Smart Hub a lot, and we haven't talked about it in a while, but Smart Hub is our online account access. I want to say app, but you can access it just through the web as well. But Smart Hub is it's your account tool, and you can log in and you can make payments and see payments and report outages and track weather data overlaid with your usage. I mean, there's just a ton of things that you can do on Smart Hub. But a lot of our members, for one reason or another, they don't have it. Maybe the thought of downloading it and getting their account set up is overwhelming, or maybe they don't think about it until they need it, and then they just make a payment another way. But we have a table in the member service tent with, I think, 5 or 6 employees that are going to be there. And their day is going to consist of members handing them their phones and them setting up Smart Hub. So if you need a little bit of help on getting that set up on your phone, you'll be able to just pass that off, or if you'd rather just have them kind of look over your shoulder while you do it, while they make sure that you're getting your account set up correctly, they'll be able to help you that day. And it's nice just to walk through there and leave that tent with Smart Hub on your phone.
Right. Or if you have questions about everything in Smart Hub, maybe
Right.
you've got it
Right.
and you're not really sure, where does this go or how do I use this? Because they'll be more than happy to explain it to you.
Absolutely, yeah. And there's several of them there, so they can help several members at a time. And our goodie bags, if you will, we've had some members ask us what's going to be in the goodie bag, and I don't know if I'm supposed to share this or not, but I have been. So
What?
I know. Did I ruin the surprise?
Well, if you've already
I've
let
already
the
told
cat out of the bag.
I know. So, as usual, we have the bags and the hats because those are just, I think, tradition at this point. Those will forever be
That's
part of
kind
it.
of like a status quo thing every
Right.
year.
But we've got stadium cushions this year. So it's
a good idea.
And we went with black just because there are so many local sports teams. When we got to thinking about a color, it felt a little bit like we might be supporting one local school over
You
another.
probably still are.
With black, they're black and white. Black stadium seats with white writing.
Yeah, let's
Yeah,
see.
they're not
Licking is
blue.
black and orange.
I'm
and
sorry,
then
Sandy.
Houston is black and red.
Yeah, but orange, red, blue. I mean, we didn't want to go with.
Could have gone.
Stan says blue. Why didn't you do blue?
Coulda- no,
Blue and
I
white.
didn't say anything about blue and white. I was thinking more like purple. And that's nobody's color around here.
Yeah, we don't have. Do we have any purples?
Not here.
No.
Yeah, you got to go as far as
We got maroon up in Rolla.
over in Potosi to get purple.
Yeah. Well,
There's nothing down 44 that's purple. There's nothing over there. That's you get Springfield.
yeah.
I
Well,
think Bolivar's purple. I got some purple. in
oh
them.
yeah, SBU, the college is
Yeah,
purple. I
no,
think.
not SBU to college. Well, maybe. Yeah.
I mean in
yeah.
Bolivar, so
Yeah,
they
in
may
Bolivar, yeah.
they may the high school may reflect
Yeah,
that. I don't
so,
know.
yeah.
But at any rate, there's stadium cushions.
But they're going to be black and white.
They're black and white.
Right,
They're
so
going to
it's-
be nice to take, sit on bleachers, kind
Absolutely.
of cushion a little bit. And we had a lady the other day. She said she'll use hers for gardening. She says, "Oh, those are perfect for your knees when you're gardening."
Mm-hmm.
So whatever you can use that for, that'll be your registration gift. You get through that line, and you can take one of those home with you and put it to use.
Very good.
However you see fit. But it'll be a good day. Stan mentioned it's going to be hot
I did mention that.
that afternoon, and I don't like that forecast, but I mean I guess it's better than
Pouring down rain
pouring down
and
rain.
40 degrees.
We've had that before.
Yeah.
So
I don't know about the 40 degrees, but you've had some cool ones.
we have. Yep, we
Yeah.
sure have. Now voting is a little bit different this year as well, for a couple of reasons. We're going to, first of all, used to voting didn't open until after business meeting, and then there was a rush to the voting tent and a line to get through. This year, as soon as you go through the registration line at 8 a.m., you can go straight over and vote. Voting will be open all day until 11:30. We're going to keep that open for half an hour after the registration line closes, just to make sure if you're kind of coming in at the last minute, you've got time still to go over there and vote. So that'll be convenient. Hopefully more enticing to go and vote, that since you don't have to wait in a line. I know
Right.
people are not always particularly thrilled about lines.
Not in the heat.
Not in the
normally,
heat.
No.
So hopefully that'll make the day a little bit easier. And also we have the capability now. Our ballots are electronic. They're on an iPad, so there'll be several iPads set up, and you'll enter your code. You'll receive a code when you go through the registration line that you take over to the voting tent, and you can access a ballot, and you can check your boxes for whoever you'd like to
Hit
vote for.
submit, and there it is.
Hit submit, and then at the end of the day, when voting closes at 11:30, tallying those votes is a lot quicker. We've had years where it's been 2 o'clock before the ballots are all counted, because those were hand counted, and we had election tellers.
You
And
had to sit out in the sun and count them in the sun.
they actually
and-
went back over to the boardroom, so that was nice. But we had election tellers; they were overseen by an attorney, and
Sure,
and
I get
those
it.
votes were counted. But that process is a lot easier
Okay.
this year as well. So helps speed up the afternoon too. You know, when we talk about that heat coming in the afternoon, we'll have
You're
those
probably
votes.
going to want to wrap things up somewhere by 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock at the latest.
Yeah.
If you're going to be going over that way.
Yeah.
You know, even if you like to stand around and visit with people, I'm sure do so underneath a tree.
Right. Yeah. It's
Get out
gonna
of
be
the
warm.
sun, and there's not going to be a lot of breeze, and so. But again, do take the precautions you need. If you need to have a little fan that's battery operated, blowing hot air on you, don't forget to bring it.
Right. And we'll
know.
have bottled water, cold
Sure.
bottled water around the park. And we've got we don't have the battery operated fans, but we've
Yeah, but
got
I
the
bet you there'll be a
hand.
vendor that has them there.
You know, it wouldn't be a bad idea. It wouldn't be a bad idea. But we do have the big paper fans,
Right.
the giant popsicle stick handled ones.
And you get the ones
and
that
those do
have the
help.
water in there, not only the battery, but they got water.
Stan's
They
like,
got
I don't want
water.
your paper fan.
I like paper fans, actually.
Yeah.
No, I prefer them. You know, you do the water one, and you do get wet.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and then you got the fan on you, and it blows that in as soon as
Cools you
it
off.
cools you off. Well, that's great, but then as soon as the water's gone, and you're doing the same thing the fan's doing anyway, you're just moving
back
hot
hot.
air.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just use a fan.
But stay cool that day. And
It's summer.
It
is
is
summer
summer.
now,
Today-
officially. Yeah.
today's
That's at
first day.
4:13 this morning. I knew you were up this morning.
oh, at 4:30. I didn't realize there was a specific time.
Oh, yeah.
4:13.
4:13 this morning.
No, I was not awake.
We officially clicked from spring to summer. Tomorrow will be the actual first full day of summer.
Well, see, I learned something new today.
But today is the summer solstice.
I knew it was the first day of summer.
Yeah, 21st. It's usually the 21st.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it's on the 20th at night. And then the 21st is the actual first full
First
day
full
of
day.
summer. But not Nah.
Anyway, today's the
today.
first day of
It
summer.
is first day of summer.
First
and
day
it's
of
been
summer.
feeling like it for a while now.
It has. It absolutely has. One more thing about annual meeting before we talk about anything else
Sure.
today. Wanted to talk about voting and those proposed bylaw changes and the board directors. Each year we have one director from each of our districts, North, Central, and South, that is up for re-election.
Right.
We've got a total of 9 directors, 3 from each district. And voting for one from each year kind of keeps some of our board members on the board that have that experience, so you're not all totally new board members at the same time, and then they serve a 3-year term. We had 2 directors this year who are, I guess you could say, retiring from the board. They're stepping down from the board, and so we had an open spot in the North and the South. Our Central District, our current board member, Matt Duncan, he was seeking re-election, and that's been uncontested. So he's on the ballot for the Central District.
He has a good chance.
He does, yeah. I think he's feeling all right. Up north, we only had one candidate that is running for that spot, Gina Zervos. And so those 2 are somewhat easy
Kind of somewhat
votes to make.
decided already,
Right.
yeah.
But
that South one.
in South, there is a contested race there. We've got 4 candidates that are running for
It's more than
board
a contested
director.
race.
Yeah, that's a race.
That's like
And we've
going
got
to the ballpark for ketchup, mustard, relish, and,
for all of it,
and
huh?
mayo running in a race.
Yeah. We do have some short little bios on those candidates in the Rural Missouri Magazine. So if you are not sure who you want to vote for, maybe you don't know them all or know any of them, those director bios really help to be able to read through there and kind of get an idea for who's running and who you would like to vote for as a director, because as I mentioned, you get to vote for one in each district.
Every district, that's right.
So even if you live in Rolla, you get to vote for a director in the South District.
Yeah,
So,
we're worried about Salem people.
yeah, well, Central District, you guys are,
I know.
Yeah.
We're different.
yeah, that's true.
You live in the Central District.
I do.
Too.
That's okay. I didn't say different was bad.
No, I didn't say different was bad either.
Me either.
But you keep,
But definitely read those bios. Make sure you vote for a director in that South District. And then our proposed bylaw changes this year. We don't always have those. There's been plenty of years where there's not any proposed bylaw
Right.
changes. We've had years where we've had 1 or 2, but this year we have 3. So please read about those. There's just a short little blurb on the ballot itself, but there's a full explanation inside that magazine. And actually there's sort of a redlined, if you will, what exactly is coming out or being added to the existing bylaws, so you can see exactly what's being changed, not just a summary.
right. Always good to read that on it.
It is.
It's hard, even when you go vote in a regular election, they give you a summary. You know,
Yeah.
you need to go read the whole submission because sometimes it's 3 to 5 pages long, and it gives you an inch and a half. And it
Space
says, this
to-
is what we're going to do. Right.
Right.
Well, it doesn't tell you what you're really going to do. That's
Right.
just
And we try to word it where they're very plainly understood, but just like you mentioned, Stan, there's very small space on those ballots. So make sure you read the extra information about those so you're fully prepared to make your vote for how you feel. Those 3 bylaw changes that are proposed, that first one has to do with broadband. That's been sort of a big topic at the co-op, at all co-ops across the state.
and all municipalities that are in rural Missouri, I think that's been a big deal.
Right. Broadband internet, high-speed internet is something that not just our members, but people need. They're able to work from home and the kids are able to do schooling from home, and just so much takes internet now, and living in a rural area, not everybody has an option for internet at all,
Right.
but a lot of times even what they do have the option for is not necessarily fast enough or as good enough quality as what they need for whatever it might be that they're working on at home.
A lot of
So-
this came out during the pandemic,
It did.
obviously, where
Absolutely, it
people found that. I think everybody knew it already, but it really got put in the forefront for the state when they found out that, we'll just do classes via the internet, and then
their students couldn't
many
access
areas
it.
said it can't happen.
Right.
We can't do that because less than 40% of our people actually have capabilities of doing this via internet with hardline internet or even Wi-Fi for that
Right.
matter.
That's right.
And they were trying to provide them with hotspots, but even a hotspot works off of cell signals. So if you got 15 people use that cell signal, your hotspot not going to work.
Yeah, those kids aren't going to be able to watch the videos that have been
Exactly,
assigned
yeah.
to watch. Yeah, you're right. So that first proposed bylaw change, it sort of takes that into consideration that there's a need there, and our board is starting to have conversations about, can we make this work? How would we make this work? And one of the main things that has to be in order before that would even begin to start is that we got to make sure our easements are worded properly and correctly so that we can allow for fiber on the poles, so that
Your legal descriptions of
legal
your easements
descriptions,
do not
right.
include broadband.
right, especially some of those really old ones, we want to make sure if we do this, we're doing it correctly, and we've got our, what do they say, your I's dotted and your
And
T's crossed.
yeah.
And
But I heard about that, and I'm thinking, years ago, you guys did have a partnership with Fidelity Communications with
Mm-hmm.
phone service in some areas. And I'm thinking, well, that'd have been a communication device too. So I
Well,
don't know if
so
some of
Fidelity
those.
was a dial-up internet,
Right.
and there wasn't any. I mean, we weren't attaching anything.
No, I know you weren't attached, but you were providing a communication service.
That's
You know,
true.
so, and I thought that's kind of a gray area,
I suppose
fine
it
line.
probably
But
is.
it was communication. This is communication.
Right.
Depends on how they want to define broadband
Right.
and what that was. But yeah, there was a dial-up internet service. So
There was.
I thought, you kind of already did it. Now, it wasn't available everywhere. At
It
that
wasn't.
time,
That's right.
but
you're
this,
right.
I know what they're trying to do and trying to figure out if this can be done.
And if we're going to be
And it's a major
utilizing-
investment if it
is.
does happen.
It absolutely is. But we want to make sure that if this is something we're going to do, and we're going to be on our members' property, and we're going to be, adding stuff to the lines, that's our members right away. Those are their easements, and we just want to make sure that they're worded correctly so that telecommunications services can be added to that. And that's what this first proposed bylaw change does.
Yeah.
It just adds some wording that allows us to be able to attach that.
Can you do
to our
that in a
poles.
blanket easement?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yep. So, and that's what this bylaw does. This
Okay.
bylaw change, if it passes, that's what it
That's
will
kind of
allow
what I
for us
thought
to do.
it said, but it doesn't just say blanket easement.
Right. Yeah.
If it say that, I would know exactly what it's going to do. You just say it about 2.5 pages.
We could have
I just say blanket easement.
2 words.
Yeah.
Stan's like, come on, clean this up.
It's legalese. We all know that. You have
Right.
to cover everything and what it affects, and I get it.
Right.
But a lot of people just, after about half reading that, they're gonna forget what they actually read above that because of the amount of words that are there, and then they don't really know what they're pertaining to anymore.
Yeah.
That's just the way legal stuff is written. The to wits and whereof and thou fors and
I know. Makes it a little complicated
Yeah.
to read, which is why we're talking about it today.
That's exactly right.
The second proposed bylaw change has to do with nominations from the floor. So we talked about the directors that are the candidates that are running for those director positions. There's several ways, if you were interested in running for the board, there's several ways that you can do that. The first and the easiest is to contact Intercounty prior to our nominating committee meeting, and they would have you fill out some
Right.
paperwork, and then the nominating committee can nominate you to be a candidate running for that position. You can also petition to be on the ballot,
Right.
and it takes 15 members' signatures to do that. So it's
Not real hard to do.
not difficult to do. If you would like to petition to be on the board or on the ballot, you can turn in that petition, and your name will be on there as well. And we've got 2 candidates
That did that?
that did that are on the ballot this year. So both of those options were utilized this year, and all 4 are running for that position. We have always had a third option
At the meeting.
at the meeting to be nominated from the floor. And I've been there 19 years, and that's not ever happened. Now,
It did happen once.
It may have happened before that, and I've
Yeah.
heard stories that it did. It's not a very utilized option, mainly because there's not a whole lot of opportunity to win the spot, to be voted in if you were nominated from the floor would be really difficult, just because all those ballots that came in the mail prior, your name would not have been on those. And then the day of course, we would add that. But again, the majority of the votes at that time have come in. So it would be very difficult, but it's always been left an option. And, in today's day and time, it's nice to be able to confirm that, yes, they are actually a member. Yes, they are a member in the district that they are wanting to run in. But we want to be able to provide information to our members when they're voting about that person. And that's why we have those director bios or those candidate bios in the magazine. We want to make sure our members can make an educated vote on who they would like to serve on the board. So this second proposed bylaw change eliminates the nominations from the floor. I don't think that our members are going to have a problem passing that, just because it's not.
It's been a long time. Yeah, and
And
today, and especially after COVID, there's no way you could even do it. You couldn't even nominate anybody from the floor because there was nobody there.
Yeah. Well, and the nominations from the floor, that really made the last 2 years difficult when we had those drive-up meetings, because we had to provide a platform where that could happen.
But who's there to vote?
And if we had not had that requirement, we could have done a virtual. We could have just live streamed it on Facebook or our website or both, multiple platforms. But we had to have some sort of event that allowed for that, just because that's the way that our bylaws are written. So that second proposed bylaw change eliminates the nominations from the floor, but it keeps those other two options same as they've always been.
So if I remember correctly, and I'm just going to go back 30 years, I believe it was a former board member who was not going to seek re-election. Then there's like 3 or 4 members that were going to take his place, and that previous board member did not like what they wanted to do. So he decided at the board meeting that, he would step back up there. Well, word had gotten around that he was going to do this, and there was a big crowd there. And so when you have 3 or 4 directors, that splits up the votes. And by the time he got there, he got elected.
Yeah.
And he got reelected. I thought, oh, that's pretty tough to do. Well, if you got everybody there, and it was a good crowd, but a lot of those votes, it was a hassle to vote by mail then.
It was, yes.
And if you didn't have your proxy with you, and a lot of people forget proxies, even though your neighbor gives you the proxy and says, here, vote this way. Well, I forgot it.
Well, we don't have proxies anymore.
No. I'm saying this is a long time.
But then,
back then, so you had to apply for a mail-in vote.
That's right.
You had to send in a letter or note or whatever, a little form I think might have come in rural Missouri.
Yep.
Or you could call, and they would send you
a
ballot, and then you had to send that. But you had to apply for it.
That's right.
A lot of people didn't do that. So anyway, times have changed, and that probably would never happen again.
Right.
But it did happen one time,
Yeah.
and I remember I was kind of shocked when they said, "Yeah, he got reelected." I said, "He wasn't even on the ballot."
Nomination from the floor.
Yeah, but he did it from the floor.
And then our third proposed bylaw change, it just clarifies some language that's in our current bylaws. We've talked about directors representing each of our 3 districts, North, Central, and South, and we would like to clarify the wording on those so that the director or the candidate that's running in that district, their primary residence is in the district that they're running. So
they could have a secondary.
Well, right. Or if they've,
else.
Say they live in Rolla, but they've got a hunting cabin down in Summersville that they use sometimes. We want to make sure that they're running for the North District because that's their primary residence, not in the South just because they have an account there.
And because nobody was running there so they could get on the board.
Right. So that third proposed bylaw change just clarifies that wording and makes sure that if a candidate's going to run, they're running in the district that they live primarily.
They're where their residence.
Yes, their primary residence. So those are our 3 proposed bylaw changes. We would appreciate our members' support on all 3 of them, but as I mentioned, that's completely up to them. The information is there. They can read through that and decide for themselves and mark their votes if they vote by mail or if they come that day. they have an opportunity to do the same, mark their votes, and we'll see. We'll see what they have to say.
I can just see that last one. Their primary residence as dictated by census definition. Because that's what it should be.
Yeah. Well.
Do you know what the census definition of a primary residence is?
I do not, but I'm sure you're going to tell me.
No, I'm not going to tell you. No. But basically what you're saying is that they have to live there at least 6 months a year, blah, blah, blah. And how you figure out who all lives in that house, you know how it is.
Right.
If your person doesn't live there 6 months, then they're not
That's not their primary
residence. Or, if they have a written agreement between somebody else as far as like tax situations, on tax returns, it gets pretty hairy sometimes. And all you guys did was just eliminate that possibility of somebody skewing the system.
Right. And we want, if we have a director that's representing a district, we want the people in that district, if they need to reach out to one of their directors, we want them to be accessible, and we want them to be known in that neighborhood and in that area, because they're serving our members just as all of us employees are. Our board directors do that in an even greater capacity.
Right.
So.
And as well as I do in the Ozarks, people move from areas that aren't too far away, but they end up in a different district.
It could happen.
So you're well known in the Southern District, and you move to the Central District, and now they know you there too. So you're known in 2 districts, and maybe you still have that cabin down there in the Southern District, but that's not where you live anymore.
Right. Yep. So just a clarification on that last one.
So simple. Easy.
Yeah, that's the easiest one.
That's the easiest one. Broadband's not that hard either.
Hopefully not.
If you put
hopefully
blanket, it would have just been easy. Blanket easement.
We do have an organization that is doing a broadband feasibility study for us right now.
You did tell us that last time.
Yep, they're working on that, and
how's that coming along?
Well, it's coming along, I suppose. We have another meeting with them in.
Have they been
part of July.
attending other municipalities and meetings?
They
that have been going
work
on?
with other co-ops. They work with other municipalities. They work with some of the state programs, federal programs that are doing the grants. So, Intercounty is a large co-op. We cover over 5,600 miles of line. Fiber is not cheap. It's the best service out there. But 5,600 miles of line is a lot of area to cover. And so we definitely want to make sure, if this is something we're going to do, that we know it's feasible.
Well, and you have to have that demand. There's no sense in running the line, fiber optic to run to one house out, after the derecho that has 14 miles out of town, and they're the only one on Intercounty Electric in that area. That,
right.
To run fiber optic to them
it's difficult for
it's not logical.
Because, most internet companies, they want, a business has to be profitable to continue, and it's not profitable to take it to these rural areas.
Right.
But as a co-op, that's exactly what we did 86
Oh, yes.
years ago when we brought electricity to the area. So we know there's a need. We know our members are of top importance to us, and we're really just listening to what they say. But we gotta make sure the numbers work. So.
But then I know the technology today, and a lot of what I'm sure Intercounty is considering is that if you're going to be taking these fiber optic lines out there, why not put 2 and have all your electric and all the other services on another fiber optic line rather than have it just for internet?
Yeah, a lot of options.
There's a lot of options. And if you're already going to do it, if you have to string it to the poles anyway, you're already there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Lots to think about.
It's
overwhelming sometimes.
I just threw mustard on that hamburger, didn't I?
Hey, I like mustard on my hamburgers.
Well, you know what I'm saying. It just spiced it up a little bit. Because that's actually what could happen. Because with today's technology, and we all know this, things are changing so rapidly, Heather.
Right.
Is that Intercounty, with the automatic meter readers and things, they've already advanced these things, and all that could be enhanced by fiber optics. It really could. So that's great.
Absolutely.
It's fantastic. Already you do so many different things just on, as you mentioned, Smart Hub. You're going to have a tent there, and these people can actually then see what they can learn from Smart Hub. That's all without fiber optics. And they're saying, well, what do you need fiber optics for? I already got all this information. Well, you can see that sooner or later, though, the old-fashioned lines and I do see them in a lot of different areas, not necessarily intercounty areas, but I do see them. The old copper coated lines they get weathered after a while, and oops, not the same coating as they put on today. Now it's a metal, it's a plastic coating. It's rubberized. It has plastic rubber, and it's sealed with metal, and it's not going anywhere. It's hard to cut, and it will not degrade with heat and weather and things of that nature. So you have all that, and then you have the option of burying that cable.
Right. And
Oh my gosh, that's expensive.
it is expensive.
So there's a lot to
Less
consider.
maintenance.
Right, but there's
or
a lot
potential
to
for
consider.
maintenance. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, so a lot of different things. That's why when somebody said, why haven't they made a decision? It's not that easy.
And it's our members' money. We have to use that,
What?
spend that wisely,
thought it
invest
was
that
your money.
wisely. No, it's not my money. But, and we realize not all of our members have the same interests or the same needs, and we have to keep them as a whole in mind, and investing their money is huge responsibility.
Yeah, and it will be a bunch.
Yeah.
So anyway, so good luck to them. I know that
Absolutely.
You
Yep.
know when you do those kinds of studies, and it doesn't matter what you come up with, you're not going to make everybody happy.
That's absolutely right.
There's just no way. You
Yeah.
just can't do it. And a lot of times when they do the study and they find out maybe what the feasibility costs might be, maybe more than Intercounty can even look into the next 20 years as how they're going to be able to have people pay for this that may not be able to afford to pay that kind of fee
Right.
to provide them with the internet that they want.
Right. We got to keep the co-op financially strong. That's our
So a lot of
huge-
considerations.
yes.
Yes. a
Yep.
lot. Okay, another consideration that we had, and we're going to get off the annual meeting. That's
right.
all done.
Friday. This Friday.
This Friday, 8 to 11:30 if you're going to vote.
That's right.
So,
Yep.
yeah.
And if
till
you
then.
have not voted by mail, do it today.
And Texas County Memorial Hospital is offering that health fair. You must fast
That's
if you
right.
want to get the profile. If you just want to get your blood pressure done, no big deal.
Right. But
You
if you're
know,
doing the lab work,
If you're doing the lab work, you do need to fast minimum of 10 hours, preferably 12. And then you're not going to be left high and dry, withering in the heat, because there's food there by the Raymondville Fire Department and the Volunteer Fire
Yeah.
Department's doing a great job down there. And we've had a number of different organizations do that,
We have,
provide
yep.
food. It's a fantastic way to get a nice hot meal right after. It's going to be hot anyway, but need a nice
Yeah.
hot meal
Right.
right after you get your blood work done. So it's a real nice win-win for everybody there. And then, of course, you have the opportunity to sit in on the meeting, get that, the sack lunch, everything, and the ice cream. Don't forget about the ice cream. And
Right.
eat it quickly.
eat it fast.
All right. So one of the things that came out, here we go. We started talking about last week, which is really a brutal week.
It was.
We haven't had a peak alert, and I can't tell you how long.
I know.
Been a long, long time, and I don't think Intercounty actually issued a peak alert. They did in the city of Salem. They did not at Intercounty, but again, it was that close
Right.
to where we reminded people to reduce your energy usage, because the more you use at that time when you get close to that peak alert, it costs the co-op more to get the electric. It's going to cost you more in the long run. So when you see these days, and we may have another one of these Friday and Saturday, guys, you don't need to crank that air down to 65. You walk in and it's 78. Oh, I'm hot. You put on 65, and you just got to be thinking it's going to get there in 5 minutes,
It's
10
not.
minutes. And if it does get there, it's going to be too cold anyway. So put it on 76 and then leave it there. And, go back outside and come back in, because at 76, it's going to feel
It's gonna feel
real
good.
good.
Yeah. So that was one of the things I
Yeah.
wanted to talk about today too, obviously, because it's recent.
It's
And
a huge. So we, like I said,
last Thursday and Friday we asked our members to conserve, especially between the hours of 2 and 8. And we appreciate local radio stations and papers sort of sharing that information with us. But we purchase our power. We're part of a 3-tiered system. So we have our own generation
right.
plants and our own transmission companies. And as you mentioned, though, our peak demand, if you will, the most that our members at any one given time need, that's what those plants have to be built to hold
To
their
accommodate
capacity.
those needs,
Yes.
right.
And so anytime you set a new peak or anytime your demand is at the highest point, that's what our rates are based off of. And it's not going to affect their bill the next month. We're not going to just change the rates and
It'll affect your bill next month because it's going to be higher.
it is going to be
because
higher,
you're
but
gonna
the
use
rates,
usage.
it's
But
not
the
going to
rate
affect your
doesn't
rates.
change, right.
The rate's not going to change. But the next year, what Intercounty, what we have to pay for our rates is based on those peak demand times. So last Thursday and Friday, we did ask our members to conserve any way that they could, maybe not use your oven for dinner, have cold sandwiches instead. Don't run your dryer, your dishwasher during those hours, and bump that thermostat. As you mentioned, if you normally keep it at 65, if you would have bumped it to even 70,
Yeah.
any little bit that you could do, that was doing your part and helping kind of shave that demand. And our members, just like there are 2 Februaries ago, when we asked our members to conserve during that really, really cold snap, our members responded, and they did. And members across the state, because all co-ops put out that same message, they responded, and they did. They did their part, and we're super appreciative of our members for doing that. And it did help keep that
Right.
demand down. And
A lot of different ways to conserve. And we've talked about this before, Heather, that people really need to be aware. Obviously, we talk about seals and cracks, doors, windows, those things. Yes, when that hot air starts trickling in that way, it does warm things up pretty quick. But direct sunlight is really your biggest enemy coming in your house.
Warms
Because
it up.
number one, it's already hot outside. Number two, you put your hand on your window, you're going to find out how hot it is. That sun come through your window, put your hand on that window, and you're not going to have it on there very long. It will burn your hand.
yeah,
You do not want to have those open windows without some kind of protection from a drape, a shutter, something of that nature, burning into your house because that sun's just beating in there on that wall, your carpet, furniture, whatever, and making it scalding hot.
yeah. And then your air conditioning unit is going to run more to try to cool the inside temperature of your home down.
Insulated drapes work great.
Yes.
And I know somebody says they're ugly.
Well,
But they're not ugly. You can get nice drapes, and you can get little liners that you can put inside there, and that helps. But, they're not necessarily ugly. Or get shutters, and you can put the shutters, and you can close shutters now, and they'll hold that heat out
any type of drape,
as well.
though, is going to
Right.
help.
Sure, any type of drape. But if you but if you have let's say a burgundy drape, and let that sun beat on it, it won't take long for that burgundy drape to look pink.
Yeah, it's going to fade.
Yeah, it's going to fade fast. So you get those insulated drapes, and I'm just saying, for anybody's information, I went and purchased some a long time ago because we have a west-facing house in the summer. And I'll tell you what, you
Gets
will
hot.
save in the summertime, and we did a little estimate about, because we have the bedroom there and the family room there, you're going to save about $145 by having those drapes every year up, because that sun never gets inside the house.
Doesn't heat
Just
it up.
$145. If that doesn't mean anything to you, well, okay.
Yeah.
Meant a lot to me because I didn't have it. So we got the drapes, we hung them up, we close them, we keep that insulated drapes, and you can feel on the other side of the drape it's warm,
Right.
but it doesn't radiate into your house and warm up the entire room, and that's what makes your air conditioner just go bonkers because it gets so hot. And if you have it in the bedroom, usually your thermostat strategically is not placed in your bedroom.
That's correct.
Okay? So your bedroom is going to be not
Extra
only
hot.
warmer, but it's going to be extra warm because your air conditioner doesn't notice that it's warming up.
Yeah.
So you might have 82 to 84 degrees in your bedroom and 78 out in the other room.
Makes a difference.
When you go to bed, it does.
Yeah.
You're going to melt.
And then
So-
you're kicking down your whole
And
unit
what do you
to just
do at
cool
night
off
then?
the
You
one
kick
room.
down the air conditioner. So, again, a little common sense. There's a way. Shutters are good. Insulated drapes are good. I highly recommend this. I know some people have put up filters on their glass too. Now I don't know how
Mm-hmm.
well that works, but they do try and say it's like a tinted
Like a
window.
film
Yeah, like
kind
a
of-
tinted window.
yeah.
Yeah, on cars.
Yeah.
They say it helps. I'm sure it does. I don't know if it'll absorb the heat like a insulated drape or a shutter will, but
Right.
nonetheless, figure out some ways, and then tell the kids to go in and out the door off the side that's not in the sun,
Right. And don't leave it open.
and don't
when
leave it open.
Yeah.
If you really do go in and out of a garage door, close the garage. Because the garage is attached to the house, and that extra heat in the garage just goes there. But use a door that's away from the sun. So in the morning, as the sun's in the east, let them use the west door. And in the
Right.
afternoon hours when the sun's really at its peak, let them use the east door.
Yeah. Yep. And there's ways that the kids can save too. I mean, they're not in control of the
No, no, no.
thermostat. There's a lot of things that as a parent, as an adult in the house, you're going to have to make that conscious decision to do. But, if you can just teach the kids to not stand there with the fridge open and not stand there with the door
What?
open. I know.
I don't know what I want till I
Turn
get
the
there.
lights off when you're not in the room. There's ways they can help too. And most of the time, they're good to help if they just know what you need them to do.
Right. But if you can teach the kids not to try and cool themselves off in front of the freezer,
Yeah.
and open the door for 5 minutes,
Yeah.
and all that cold air starts to
Yeah.
come out.
Yep.
Yeah. And it does happen. I'm not going to say it
Oh,
doesn't,
yeah.
because that's when they open the refrigerator. I'm hungry, but I don't know what I want. So you stand there and you can go from top shelf down, and it takes a while. And then or I'm looking for this particular drink, and it's in the back. And
Right.
You know,
and we all do
we all
things
do
like
it.
that. But
yeah, sure.
during last Thursday and Friday when we asked our members to conserve, they all did those little things that really made a difference. So huge thank you, and thank you to you guys here and
Well, no
and
problem.
other news outlets that help us spread the word.
So some suggestions for long-term thinking.
Okay.
Okay. Just a couple things off the top. If you have children,
Mm-hmm.
then, and you know that they, obviously they're going to be outside playing. They're going to get thirsty. They're going to want to come in and get something. Get a small little refrigerator, okay? And use that small little refrigerator, whether it be in the kids' room or whatever. And it can be as little as 28 inches tall and 20 inches wide, and put their drinks in there. And that way, if they open it up, there's not that many choices. They have it right there, pull it out, put it back in. And it doesn't take much to cool that down. That's a lot better than your refrigerator. When you open it up, you lose a whole 6-foot door by however
cool
wide it
space.
is. And that all comes out. When you open up at the one that's 1/3 that size, not much.
Yeah.
So think about that. I mean, they're not very expensive. Those small little, and I kind of call them just little
Mini.
drink fridges. That's all I call them, because really that's all you put in. I put in there is drink fridges. That way, if you come in, you want a cold water, you open it up. There's your water. Pull it out. Close it back up. Bang! You go to the refrigerator. You open it up, and you got choices. Choices. I got choices. I got my favorite. I got my favorite beverage here. I got my water here. I got my juice here. Oh, maybe have some of that cantaloupe and that watermelon there. That might all go real good. Well, that's great, but if you only needed a water,
Yeah.
you kind of overdid it. So some of those are really good to have. So that's just a good thing to have too. And also one thing that people don't think about is making sure that when you do have your freezers and stuff, take your stuff out at night the night before and put it in your refrigerator freezer. So you have deep freeze, and do that late at night like you were mentioning earlier. A lot of people don't think about they want until that day,
Right.
and they put it out and it's already getting warm, and then next thing you know is you're sitting there looking for what you want in the middle of the day to get
Yeah.
out, because it's going to thaw off pretty fast.
Yeah.
So, just simple stuff like that. It doesn't sound like much, but it will save over the long run.
Yep. You're absolutely right.
Now, one thing I wanted to bring up, though, is right now, and I know I've seen our local pool full. It is full. It's hot. It's full. Kids are there in the water staying cool, and that's great.
Yes.
For people who have their own pool right now, with the sun beating on it as hard as it is, you're adding more chemicals, and it's working harder and harder and harder to keep that water going, because it's evaporating fast. Guys, that pump
Is running.
is running, and it's running hard. maybe give your little pump every now and then. I know you got to keep the water clear, but if you shut it off for a little while, let that thing cool down, because as hot as it is, you go feel that compressor and that stuff on those pumps. I'm going to tell you something. They are scorching.
I bet they are.
You know, and if your pump is in the sun, which I do know,
Most of them probably are.
a lot at some time of the day they will be, if they're underneath the edge of the decking of the pool, they're going to get really hot. So in those times, that means your pool's not going to turn green in 5 minutes. All right, shut that thing off, let it cool down, you know, and then give it a half hour, an hour, and then go ahead and turn it back on. Let it cool, get a little cooler, and then do the job at once to keep your family cool at home in your home pool. But if you don't do that, and that sun just keeps beating on it and it gets overheated, you're going to be without a pool for a while. And to try and get right now, just talk to somebody. Try and get a new pump for your swimming pool pump.
They're not going to get it this summer? No.
Not even available.
Oh, my.
So, in many sizes. There are some sizes that are available, but
for what they need.
For your typical home pool, not available.
Yeah. Maintenance is important. Maintenance of, you know, whether it's your pool pump or your air conditioning unit or any of your appliances in your home, maintenance is really important. We talk about things like changing the filters in your heating and cooling units. We share those things because we want your stuff to last, and we want it to work as efficiently as possible.
And also on your exterior air conditioning unit, if you have a central unit, get out there and clean the debris away from
it makes
the
a difference.
coils, because I'll tell you what, if it can breathe, it can cool a lot better. Used to have one that was right by a cottonwood tree.
Oh, that's awful placement.
Oh, it was. And you know,
how'd you even keep it clean?
Well, it was hard. You know, when the cotton would float,
you
just watch it go by this. It would just make a right turn, go
and just
right
sucked
in.
right
it
to
just
it.
Sucked right in there.
Oh my!
And you know, thing is about every 4 days we had to take a hose, and you have to hose it out from the inside. Outside, you got to push it all back out.
Right.
And it was a job. And I'm telling you what, it would freeze that unit up if you didn't in a heartbeat, because they can't get enough air.
Right.
And then the Freon freezes the pipes, and then your unit's froze up, and it's not doing you any good because it's not going to get cool in your house. And you turn it down even lower,
and still ain't gonna work.
You're not helping the situation. So, yeah, a lot of people don't do that. Yeah, you can take that cover off that air conditioner. Now, don't go touching the compressor and stuff, but you can clean out those coils. You know, if you have a little fan above that, just take a hose in there and clean those coils out. And you'd be surprised how much dirt.
Probably a lot.
Stuff is in those, and once you get that cleaned out, you're going to find out that unit's going to run a lot more efficient. Just a note of interest.
Yeah.
I had to do that in property management. That was wild how much dirt would come out of some of those things. So just another idea.
Yeah.
Help save.
Good stuff.
You know, and help save on your electric bill, because nobody wants to pay more.
No. Absolutely
just
not.
Because, I don't think.
No, I don't think so. I don't think so.
I think so. And we all know that the summertime, picnics and things of that nature, people do outside stuff. And there's some lights and stuff that people like to have out. You know, they string their lights up and they have friends over and different things. So you're probably going to have a little bit more electric usage anyway.
Right.
So not a big deal. It's just know that it's coming. Talk about it all the time.
Yes, absolutely. I wanted to talk about Youth Tour really quick.
Are we going on one?
They got back Sunday.
Oh.
They got back from D.C.
They went without us.
Yeah, I know.
I'm not going.
That's crummy. Anyway, I think it was a pretty hot week out in D.C.
I'm pretty sure it was.
We had Aaron Epstein, one of our member service reps. He went as a chaperone this year, and we had 8 students go. I would love to have said 9, but Salem here, we didn't have anybody from Salem. So next year, hopefully we'll have a junior that writes the essay and goes out to D.C. But we had 8 students. We sent them out to D.C.
They could have sent me.
They could have sent me. They could have, yeah.
You're not from Salem.
No, but
I'm
from the Central District.
I would be ready. Yes,
you
are.
Does that count?
My gosh, yes, you are. Yeah, we already distinguished that.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. But we sent 8 high school juniors. I guess technically they're seniors now. We sent them out to D.C. They had a really great time. And hopefully some of them will be able to join us at annual meetings, share a little bit about their trip. But we realize that's difficult. A lot of them had to take a week off work to even go to DC. So it's always great to be able to send those kids. This year it was just extra special because we haven't got to the last 2 years.
Yeah.
And they had a really phenomenal time. Got to go out to the nation's capital, experience that firsthand, kind of see how our government works and see our nation's history. And they come back and they're proud. You know, that patriotism is just much stronger, and a lot of things click while they're out there. So, yeah.
I think the thing that's most impressive when you go to D.C., because you see it on TV all the time. You see the Capitol, you see the White House, and you're thinking it's all within like a block.
It's massive. And
it's nowhere near a block.
It is not. And even just, I think the first time I went, just the sheer size of everything, you know, the stuff's not small. These monuments, these
huge.
memorials, they're just massive. And until you're standing there in person and you're walking the length of the Vietnam Wall Memorial, you don't get it.
No.
And, you know, these kids come back and they get it after they come back. So we're really happy to have been able to send them. Looking forward to sending our cycle students, those runners up, out to Jeff City later this summer.
It's a little closer.
It's a little
City.
closer.
Yeah.
It's a shorter trip, but we send them there, and they get to experience a lot of things too. So, you know, that trip is back also. So.
Yeah, if you ever get a chance, if you have a young'un that gets a chance to go to D.C., and trust me, they're not even going to scratch the surface of things that can be done there. There's just so many.
We fit as much as we can in a week, and it's not even close.
Because things are separated. You know, if you want to go to the World War II Museum, you're thinking, okay, we'll go there. Well, it's not like 5 feet away is the Vietnam War Memorial. It's not that close. And, we'll go there, Lincoln Memorial, and this and this and that, and Martin Luther King Memorial, we'll go there. You're not, because first off, just to get around them, there's so many people. Yeah. And there's a distance. And you really want to walk it. You don't want to try and drive it. Well, first off, you may not find a parking place.
Yeah.
But you miss stuff when you don't walk it, because you miss the views. You miss the symmetry of Washington, D.C. People don't really realize the symmetry of it, because you can go from the Capitol, you look straight on down, and you just see how beautiful it is. The Smithsonian, all the buildings and how they're lined up. It's just amazing.
Yeah.
Walk it. Trust me. Even the streets are pretty cool.
Marble curbs.
Yeah.
Yep.
Go to the Currency Museum.
I've never been there.
Yeah. You get to watch them shred money.
Be painful.
They don't give you free samples, though.
No, I doubt it.
Yeah. But it really is interesting. And there's so many different things you can do there, so many different museums. And if you do plan on going to D.C., start planning a year ahead of time, especially if you want to go on a White House tour, or you want to go see your representative or whatever, because you have to apply. You have to ask. You have to send them a letter, and then they will set up. They will schedule you in and see if there's a time available.
Right.
And if there's not, then they say sorry. Already full booked that week or whatever, and not going to be there or whatever it is.
Right.
So a lot of good stuff in D.C. July 4th.
Yeah.
It's coming up.
It is coming up, so make sure. We want you to have fun. We share so much safety stuff, and I know it sounds like we just don't want you to have any fun. We do. We just want you to be safe. Stay cool. Use your energy wisely, and stay safe with fireworks, and keep your littles safe, but have fun. So have fun, but be safe. I can say that, right?
Yep. You can.
Yeah.
Yeah. Think before you do things that just aren't normal. I mean, you wouldn't want to shoot off fireworks and point them at a child, like bottle rockets and things of that nature.
And it's dry. So
and it's very dry.
Be very mindful of that.
And one of the things that you also don't want to be doing is shooting bottle rockets at Intercounty electric transformers.
Don't even give people that idea.
Well, but I've seen it happen.
Yeah.
You don't really want to shoot fireworks off around transformers at all, whether it be bottle rockets, which usually go straight into them, or you might even have, you remember your helicopters and even Roman candles. Those embers that come out of there are hot, and they can get into those transformers.
Yeah. Be mindful of those
So
overhead
stay away.
lines. Yeah.
Stay away.
And hopefully our members already know that. They weren't going to shoot any fireworks off around power lines anyway, Stan. Right? Right, Stan?
Right. Well, but I'm just
Yeah.
saying that it's at their house, and they see the transformers over here. It looks far enough away, but really, when you watch that bottle rocket go 140
drifts.
feet in the air, you don't know where it's going. You know, some of these other little missiles and little rockets that shoot off, you have no idea where they're
Right.
going to go. So,
Right.
again, one of the ideas is out. I say try and get out in the middle of a field, but as dry as it is right now, you may not want to do that either. You may want to be in more of a controlled area, but just watch the fireworks. If you do purchase fireworks, maybe not get the ones that just are a little bit out of control. Some of those get pretty far-fetching and get away from you, like
Yeah.
whistling chasers years ago. We used to put those out there. They'd go 75 feet away. And you didn't even know where they
you
went. They
didn't
just
know.
they take off, and you didn't know where it goes.
Yeah.
Sometimes they would chase you. That's why I call whistling chaser. But you didn't have a clue. But again, just a little common sense, guys. Some of these things. Everybody wants to have a good time on 4th of July. I can honestly tell you this story. Years ago, we had a neighbor had a big yard, and then he had a 17-acre lot in the middle of St. Louis. So he had a pool,
Oh, wow.
he had a big patio and stuff. But his backyard was 3.5 acres. I used to cut it by hand,
Oh, my.
so I could use the pool for free.
Right. Hey, it was worth
Hey,
it.
it was worth it, trust me. But that's where they used to shoot the fireworks off. Now, inside the city limits of St. Louis, you're not allowed to do that. But it was on private property, and it was screened away from everybody. Nobody could see it. So they never got these super high fireworks
Right.
that would go up high. Well, unfortunately, though, we're still children, We still have a good time. So we're out there having fun with fireworks, placing firecrackers and stuff like that. Well, I had a bag that had bottle rockets, grosses of bottle rockets, and different things for later on that day. Well,
see where
all
this
it
is
took
going.
is one
Spark.
stray one to go in that bag. And you want to talk about somebody,
You burned a hole in his yard, didn't you?
we put a hole in his yard. I don't know if I burned it in there. But the bottle rockets and things that just start emitting out of there,
And
it's
no control.
dangerous because nobody knows where they're going. And, you may think, oh, they're just going to burn up, catch on fire. That's all, guys, that's actually, dangerous stuff in there. You got gunpowder in there because of the fireworks. And if it all got together in one big explosion, it's going to be a big explosion. So you don't want to be near it. You want to keep people away.
Right.
Just be careful. And that can be with a punk, cigarette ash. It can be anything that gets in there. But a lot of times it's just somebody having a good time and throwing a firework and it blows up in the air, or it doesn't blow up in the air and it comes down and goes right in your bag or right where you have your stash. Be careful.
Mindful. Yes.
Just be careful. It's just too
Absolutely.
easy to have a good time. Now, don't forget 4th of July parade downtown Salem. And
Oh,
they
yeah?
have the parade, the fireworks display out at the Commons. And you don't have to go buy fireworks. You just go watch it. It's free.
And they take all those safety things into
do.
consideration. So
Those
good
people
advice.
are trained to do that.
That's right.
They have one in Licking.
We do. Yep. We'll have one. I don't remember which day. I don't think it's on the actual
3
4th,
bottle
but-
rockets that are, Roman candles.
We've actually
Yeah.
had some really good,
Good,
firework
good,
displays the last several
Good.
years.
Where they have it?
At the Deer Lick Park. Yep.
Off on
Back behind the
Baseball fields?
Mm-hmm. Yep. They do
It's
a
a good
good
place
job.
to have
And
it.
most communities do.
Yeah.
So, if you really want to see some fireworks and you don't want to have to worry about all these things we just talked about, check your local community calendar and see what they got going on and take your family to that.
Right.
It'd
And
be
with
good.
4th of July being on a Monday, some of them may actually hold their celebrations on the weekend.
That's right.
So, kind of take a look around. Or maybe you want to go to a couple different ones.
Yeah. And you
Some
probably
have it.
can.
Yeah. St. Louis will be Friday, Saturday, and Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. They're actually
Oh,
going to
wow.
have them each night down there at the riverfront. So that's going to be
That'd
crazy.
be pretty.
Yeah. It's pretty hot. A lot of
Yeah.
people.
I would say.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's going to be hot for a while.
Yeah, it'll be a little bit warm. Anyway, did you have anything else?
Nope, that's it. Thank you.
Wow.
Huge thank you to our members who conserved last week. We certainly appreciate it. And if you're going to join us this Friday for annual meeting, just remember that's over at the Old City Park. Registration starts at 8. And we'll have the registration lines open until 11.
Okay.
Should wrap up around noon that day. So come and join us. If you can't, please vote by mail today, if at all possible, just because those ballots need to be in by Friday. And
Dress appropriately.
yeah, it's going to be hot. So
Light-colored, loose-fitting clothing. Let
stay
it
cool.
breathe.
Yeah, yep.
Let it breathe.
There's plenty of shade, plenty of water. So if you join us, make sure you find some shade and grab you a bottle of water and just enjoy the morning while it's cooler, because Stan promised that we're going to get a nice, beautiful, cool morning.
Yeah, the morning will be good. Actually, it should be pretty good.
Yeah.
It's just the rest of the day as it goes on. Because Thursday actually is going to be fairly comfortable. So
Yeah.
at 88, I know people say that's
Fairly
not comfortable. Compared to 98 in the shade, it's fairly comfortable. You know, and so take it for what it's worth. But do go out there. Might want to wear a hat.
Yep.
Dress in that loose, light-fitting clothing.
That's right.
Light-colored. Keep that sun bouncing off you.
Yep.
Don't let it absorb.
That's
It'll
right.
get hot in a big hurry.
Yep.
It really will. All right. As always, we thank our friends from
Thank
Intercounty
you.
for coming by. Heather, thank you for making
Absolutely.
adjustments. I know we had to kind of reschedule
We did,
this,
yeah.
and not a problem. Glad you could make it this Tuesday and keep us going.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
absolutely.
I was going to be confused.
You
Wouldn't have had Intercounty in a month. I don't know.
What do you do?
What do I exactly? Exactly. I took the words right out of my mouth. Anyway, well, we appreciate all the work that they do and giving you the information and things that you can use and help save some money, as well as
Right.
utilize your electric the best you can. You know, so we try, and that's basically what we're trying to do here. They have a lot of different services. Check it out, and if you are going to the member services, will it be the member services
It'll
tent?
be in the
they're gonna
member services tent.
Okay,
Yep.
so they're going to talk about Smart Hub. If you're not familiar with everything about Smart Hub, you don't have it on your phone, or if you have it on your laptop, or you have it on your PC at home, and you've used it, but you really haven't used it, and you want to find out how to use it to your advantage,
Friday's your day.
Friday's your day. Talk to them, and they'll be more than happy to give you all the details, show you how to use it, and you'll become a maestro at
That's right.
Smart Hub.
That works.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think that's a pretty good term. I
Yeah.
think we got to patent that one. The maestro of
Smart Hub.
Smart Hub.
Good stuff.
Ooh, I like it. Heather, thanks again.
Absolutely.
Stay cool, and you have a happy Independence Day. You and the kids have a
Yeah.
great time.
Thank you very much.
All right, stick around. Civic Happening.